Good morning. Today we're making a super simple and actually pretty quick bone broth that works for both people and for pets. Even though it's still horrendously hot where I live, I am trying desperately to get into the fall spirit, so I'm adding half a pie pumpkin into this bone broth in hopes that it's just gonna bring me into that mood. I just roughly chopped this and then I'm gonna set it aside for later, and don't worry, the other half of the pumpkin didn't go to waste. We actually ended up making homemade pumpkin puree. The only other big thing I'm gonna add is a peach. I had one last lonely peach in the bottom of my refrigerator and I figured it would go great in this because I wasn't planning on making bone broth today, and that last minute decision means I didn't have a whole lot of stuff to use. Flavor profile wise, I'm not too sure if peaches and pumpkin go too well together, but I don't think the pets are going to mind. The absolute star of the show are these beef marrow bones from a local regenerative farm called SK Prime Pastures. We recently got a ton of meat from them and everything has been absolutely delicious. Large marrow bones like this are rich in nutrients, they provide a ton of flavor, and they help to achieve that gelatinous texture, but if your main goal is super jiggly bone broth, I would focus heavily on feet. Chicken feet or duck feet both work totally fine. I got these online at Raw Feeding Miami, but you can find them at Asian markets, and I've even seen them at grocery stores like HEB. You could totally stop here and just add in your water to keep it super simple, but I like to add extras for the flavor and all the added benefits. I ended up sprinkling in some turmeric, but I didn't add black pepper because I forgot, and I'm not quite sure how it works, so I don't know if it still has any benefits without the black pepper. Maybe somebody could tell me in the comments. After you have everything in your pot, you just want to fill it with filtered water until it's just above all of your bones and ingredients. I'm using a pressure cooker, so it's only going to take about 4 hours, but I've done it in a crock pot for 24 hours, and although it's slower, it really isn't any extra work. 4 hours later, I have beautiful bone broth that's ready to be strained. We obviously did not know what we were doing when it came to depressurizing this thing, but hey, it was our first time using an Instapot. And I know what you're thinking, that it feels like a stretch that I'm calling the bone broth beautiful because it looks gross, but when it comes to bone broth, it kind of has to look gross. Obviously, we're not very graceful people, but the good news is we still got all of that beautiful bone marrow out of the marrow bones from SK Prime, which is not only so yummy, but also packed full of tons of benefits. One thing I learned from the batch of bone broth last year is the filtering process is way more important than I would have originally guessed. So you want to take the time to get all of the extra solids out, and I just went straight for a coffee filter to make sure I got all of the excess sediment. Definitely took forever, and cheesecloth probably would have been a better option, but I didn't have anything else on hand. After it's been strained, you pop it in the fridge, and the next day you can peel off that layer of fat to reveal a beautiful and delicious, super jiggly bone broth that both people and pets can enjoy.